It's unbelievable when you think the European Union have the audacity to fine an international platform like X 120 million euros in a fine, allegedly for breaching some sort of rules that they've made up. President Trump's come out and backed Elon Musk, but why am I making such an issue about this? Well, as you know, the biggest political thing that we ever did in the 20th century was to vote to leave the European Union. We voted, we won. And ever since that point in 2016, those that wanted to stay have hammered us and hammered us, and they were a big, massive part of the Tory party who were supposed to lead us out of the EU. The Tories ceased to be conservative. Boris Johnson was a fake leader. How many times did he say die in a ditch? We were sold a pup. We didn't get Brexit, we got Brino. We are physically out. We are basically free to do what we will. But there's been no politicians in power to do that. And now you look at Elon Musk faced with this 120 million euro fine from this entity that nobody's voted for. Nobody voted for them. They set themselves up. They are selected, not elected. The 5 presidents, you can't even name them without using Google. So that's how much control they've got. You don't even know who these people are. And you never get an opportunity to vote them out, ever. They are failing big time. The currency is propped up with quantitative easing, has been done for over a decade. And without Britain as the second biggest cash cow, they are truly struggling financially. But you'll never see it because the media won't report it because they want us back in the EU. And now David Lammy wants us back in the EU. He doesn't want you to have a trial by jury, but he wants you to be back in the EU. So does Keir Starmer. What you've got to look at here, and the reason that I support reform the way I do, they're the only party with a hope in hell's chance. You might have your other favourites, but they're nowhere near in a position to make any difference. Even if they got 4 or 5 MPs, the clock is now ticking, tick-tock towards communism. It's a style of communism. You can label it as you want, stakeholder capitalism. But as you know, there are whistleblowers now blowing the lid off this globalist entity that's trying to control everything with a handful of people, literally a handful of people controlling the world, telling you when you can have time off work, what medication to take, whether or not your country or even your district should be locked down. Someone in Geneva or Brussels or even South America might have the right to tell you that Accrington shouldn't be open for business because of something that's going on. And they'll probably use it with the weather. We have been lied to on every front by every single politician we've been faced with for the last at least 15 to 20 years. And unfortunately, they've encouraged a lot of people to believe what they're saying. But you've only got to look at the things they're trying to convince you to believe in. The multi-trillion pound industries where lots of people are making an awful lot of money from your gullibility and the basically being beguiled into thinking it's the truth, whether it's about the weather or health or whatever's going on at the moment. And the European Union still has this, communist style grip on Europe. Hungary isn't happy with it, Poland isn't happy with it, we aren't happy with it, Spain's not happy with it. And if you look at the other countries that are still in this, the people that want to stay in Europe tell you that, Britain's floundering. Look at Germany, they're still in. How can anything be so incompetent that it's crushed the German economy? How can anybody be so bad at running things that that's what's happened to the German economy? Because of the open door policy, the 2015 migrant crisis. Today I had to ring the Department of State Work and Pensions about my pension, but it's the Benefits Office as well. And when I went onto the line, it said, press 1 to deal with your call in English. So I pressed 1 and we dealt with my call. Obviously I waited 30 minutes in a queue and then got spun around, didn't get the answer I was looking for, despite them sending me a letter of apology about what they'd done and admitting their error. An ambulance went flying back. And I thought, well, how many languages do they deal in? So I Googled it. Anyway, it said the Department of Work and Pensions has usually 41 different languages that it will deal with you in. And up to 140 languages. So I Googled it. Various government departments deal in 140 languages. Between 41 and 140 languages. My question is this. If you don't speak English, how are you going to work? Where are you working? Because wherever I've worked, you've needed English. So where's your job? How are we doing these documents and these online recorded calls in 40 languages, and some departments up to 140? How can that even work? I googled it. Other countries that do multiple languages are Belgium. They do it in Dutch, and they do it in French and German. Switzerland, pretty similar. Italian, German and French. South Africa, 12 languages, but Britain, 41. And if you want to know how your country's going down the pan, you only have to look at everything stems back to very, very poorly managed, in fact not managed at all, immigration throughout Europe in this last 10 to 15 years, and nobody trying to sort it out, and even trying to drag us back into a set of comedians. I mean, finding Elon Musk for his platform. Who do they think they are? It's an American business. It's registered in America. There's millions of online users across the world. There's 500 million people in Europe. Who do these people think they are? Who do they find next? The online safety bill, absolutely full of trepidation for the ordinary individual in the street. And this is why we have to fight. And this we have to fight something that can win, that can stop this. Because the Tories have allowed it. Labour are encouraging it, and they want to be back in the thick of it with the EU. And that's one place where you don't want to be going.